All right. So, we've been talking about how your financial wealth can be impacted by your lack of sexual discipline. In the book of Proverbs, the wise sage Solomon gives a warning for you and I. He has several successive chapters. If you haven't watched my previous video, Better Than Titties, you might not have gotten a chance to go in on chapter 5 of the book of Proverbs. So maybe go back and check out that video. And right now I want to get to chapter 6, which begins with a message that's more financial than it is emotional or sexual. But it's an important message, and there's a link between the two. And as we examine that link, I want you to know that if you've struggled with your sexual urges, you are not alone. I've been there, and I know that you can be free. And I love to tell you the secret sauce to being free, to having the struggles of yesterday not go into your tomorrows. So let's look at Proverbs chapter 6. It begins with this warning against folly. And I'd like to suggest in verse 3, it says, free yourself. Do this, my son, free yourself. It repeats this admonition in verse 5. Free yourself like a gazelle from the hand of the hunter, like a bird from the snare of the fowler. And then it begins talking about an ant. The ant is a small creature, but he has really big, powerful, unstoppable, because he's understanding the power of community. This ant, he's so small, but he does big things. This is why it's preserved in this chapter, because you are like the ant, but you're so much more magnificent. You're so much more incredible. You can do so much more. You can lift that heavy yoke off of your own neck. Free yourself. Deliver thyself, King James says. Because there is a blessing that's connected to your obedience. There is what would feel like a curse connected to when we are out of line and out of harmony with these principles of heaven. In verse 20 of chapter 6, he begins this warning against adultery. My son, keep your father's commands. Do not forsake your mother's teaching. Bind them on your heart. Fasten them around your neck. When you walk, they will guide you. When you sleep, they will watch over you. When you awake, they will speak to you. For these commands are a lamp. This teaching is a light. And the corrections of discipline are the way to life. Disciplined approach. What the sexual urges are here to teach and show you are discipline. Because if you had discipline, what could you not do? That's why it's in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, the chapter entitled Sex Transmutation, transmuting that energy into your unique ability. There's nothing you can't do. God says in Ephesians 6:10, we can be strong in the Lord and the power of his might. And if there's nothing God cannot do, what happens when he combines with you? The mere word impossible says, I'm possible. You can do all things through him who gives you strength. Don't for a minute believe the lie. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 tells us that no temptation will come upon you except what is common to man. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted above what you are able. You can master this. And it's so much easier if you don't try to do it alone. You're only as sick as your secrets. It's going to affect all aspects of your life until you get these urges under control, until you master how to have self-discipline, self-control. Yes, you can. Daniel purposed in his heart that he wasn't going to defile himself. Above all else, says Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23, guard your heart. Guard the avenues of your soul and build that muscle, build that creative, imaginative faculty, because when you use your superpower in the realm of sexual urges, you're wasting your energy. And the power of God, your life force, it's removed from you. You're stripped like Samson of the supernatural strength, and you become weak like every other man. Delilah wants you to be weak. Jezebels want you to be weak. And God intended you, man of God, to be strong. Rise up. You don't have to stay stuck. If you choose to do this right here, begin confessing your faults one to another. Get out of isolation. Shame has us running and hiding. From Genesis chapter 3, it's time to get those fig leaves off of you and understand the power of community, of transformational relationship. As one man, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. We can do so much more. There is no limit to what the power of God can do when it's flowing through you. And so Solomon has a warning. He's like, hey, I want you to be kept from the immoral woman in verse 24, from the smooth tongue of the wayward wife. Do not lust in your heart after her beauty. Yeah, she's fine, but she's trying to bring you down. Don't let her captivate you with her eyes. She knows what she's doing when she batting them big brown eyes. For the prostitute reduces you to a loaf of bread. The adulteress preys upon your very life. Can a man scoop fire into his lap without his clothes being burned? Can a man walk on hot coals without his feet being scorched? Proximity is killing you, bruh. It's killing you. You think that you can have your phone next to you late at night when you know you're powder. You know. Proximity is something, the discipline of putting yourself in position to win is something that you need to learn. And if you haven't watched my video, Better Than Titties, I went into Proverbs chapter 5. We looked at how, we looked at a number of things. And here and now, I want you to know that there's other connections. He says in verse 31, if he is caught, he must pay sevenfold. Caught messing with the wrong woman. Though it cost him all the wealth of his house, it's going to cost you. A man who commits adultery lacks judgment. This is what he says in verse 32. Whoever does so destroys himself. You destroy your own soul. You're shooting yourself in the foot before the race. It's time that we understood the power that we have. Sin desires to have you, and as God said to Cain in Genesis chapter 3, I'm saying to you, you must master it. He won't do for you what you can do for yourself. And if you come together in the right kinds of community, you will have so much more power. Like the ant in the first part of chapter 6, we can tackle a big task. Many hands make work light. And I'm here to tell you that you were made for more. Don't settle. Fight for the right to image the all-powerful God and creator of the universe. You did not come from monkeys. You shouldn't just be getting that leg up like you are a dog. You have power to think and to do anything that you want. Learn how to use that creative power, and you'll see just how unstoppable you are. God has big plans in store for you. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you, to give you hope and a future. And it's time for us to stop settling for less than God's best. I want to encourage you to join me. The rest of this month, I'm bringing a group of guys together. We're going to be on that NoFap. We're going to retain our semen retention. No Nut November. We are here, and real men are going to be developed. Real men are going to rise up. Real men are going to start on a path to do something that's going to make a huge impact in this world. Why settle when the promise was that we could have more? The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, and he'll use you to do his dirty work. Like he said, whoever commits adultery, whoever doesn't have discipline in the area of sexuality, you're destroying your own soul. You're destroying yourself. You are a suicide bomber. And I'm here to rescue you. I'm here to say, try this other way and see if God will not open for you the windows of heaven and pour out blessing. You don't have room enough. You don't have room enough to receive. Let's try things his way and see how our health and our wealth can combine to be more just by us doing things God's way. The promise of life and life more abundantly still has your name all over it. And so, let's do it. But let's not struggle alone. Let's grow together. Join me and this group of men as we set out to discover how there's so much more. There's so much in life that's better than titties. You can eliminate your distractions, embrace true masculinity, and relentlessly pursue your purpose because you are a real man. When I became a man, I put childish ways behind me. So rise up, man of God, rise up. Stop settling and let's go after the fullness of who God intended us to be.